Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama. No, you continue. Rama 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 Hare Hare. Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ramo, Hare Ramo, Ramo Ramo, Hare Hare. Jai Jai Vishnu Pad Mamam Sivangais AC Bhaktivinoda Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. ISKCON and BBD founder Chais Divine Guys AC Bhaktivinoda Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Jai Vishnu Pad Mamam Sabhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada Maharaj Ki Jai. Jai, Nectar of Instruction Class Ki Jai. All lost assemblies, Hare Krishna. All lost assemblies, Hare Krishna. All lost assemblies, Hare Krishna. All glories to see Guru and Goranga. All lost Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Hare Krishna. Welcome everyone. Thank you for giving me a chance to sit on that seat, and I will try to speak something. I'm so sorry, I was thinking somehow another the class is at 8 o'clock, so I got a little bit bewildered. So please bear with me. We're reading from Nectar of Instruction, text number 4. Tadati prati grinati goyam ahati prachati punkte bhujat chaiva sadvitam priti lakshanam. Tadati prati grinati goyam adyati prachati punkte bhujat chaiva Sadvitam priti lakshanam dadati gat vrati grinati guyam adyati prachati punkte bujate jaiva sadvitam priti lakshanam dadati pratigrinati guyam adyati prachati punkte bujate jaiva sadvitam priti lakshanam dadati pratigrinati guyam adyati prachati punkte bujate jaiva sadvitam priti lakshanam. Ladies? Dadati pratigrinati guyam adyati prachati punkte boyayate chaivam sadvitam priti lakshanam. Okay, word for word. Dadati gives charity. Pratigrinati accepts in return. Guyam confidential topics. Ayati explains. Prajati enquires. Punkte eats. Boyate feeds. Cha also. Eva certainly. Sadvidam 6 kinds. Priti of love. Lakshanam symptoms. Okay, translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Offering gifts in charity, accepting charitable gifts, revealing one's mind in confidence, inquiring confidentially, accepting prasadam, and offering prasadam are 6 symptoms of love shared by one devotee and another. Purport. In this verse, Srila Rupa Goswami explains how to perform devotional activities in the association of other devotees. There are 6 kinds of activities. 1. Giving charity to the devotees. 2. Accepting from the devotees whatever they may offer in return. 3. Opening one's mind to the devotees. 4. Inquiring from them about the confidential service of the Lord. 5. Honoring prasadam or spiritual food given by the devotees. And 6. Feeding the devotees with prasad. An experienced devotee explains, and an inexperienced devotee learns from him. This is Guyam Ati Prachati. When a devotee distributes prasadam, remnants of food offered to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and in order to maintain our spirit of devotional service, we must accept this prasadam as the Lord's grace received to the pure devotees. We should also invite pure devotees to our home, offer them prasad, and be prepared to please them in all respects. This is called Bhunkta Bhujayate Chaiva. Even in ordinary social activities, the 6 types of dealings between 2 loving friends are absolutely necessary. For instance, when one businessman wishes to contact another businessman, he arranges a feast in a hotel and over the feast openly expresses what he wishes to do. He then inquires from his business friend how he should act, and sometimes presents are exchanged. Thus, wherever there is a dealing of priti or love in intimate dealings, these 6 activities are executed. In the previous verse, Srila Rupa Goswami advised that one should renounce all worldly association and keep company with the devotees. Sangha Tragya Sarobhite. The International Society for Krishna Consciousness has been established to facilitate these kinds of loving exchanges between the devotees. The society was started single-handedly, but because people are coming forward and dealing with the give and take policy, the society is now expanding all over the world. We are glad that people are donating very liberally to the development of the society's activities, and people are also eagerly accepting whatever humble contribution we are giving them in the shape of books and magazines dealing strictly with the subject matter of Krishna consciousness. We sometimes hold Hare Krishna festivals and invite life members and friends to participate in the feasting by accepting prasadam. Also, most of our members come from the higher ranks of society. They nonetheless come and take whatever little prasadam we are able to offer them. Sometimes the members and supporters inquire very confidentially about the methods of performing devotional service, and we are trying to explain this. In this way, our society is successfully spreading all over the world, and the intelligentsia of all countries is gradually appreciating our Krishna consciousness activities. The life of the Krishna Consciousness Society is nourished by these 6 types of loving exchange amongst the members. Therefore, we must be giving a chance to associate with the devotees of ISKCON, because simply by reciprocating in the 6th way mentioned above, an ordinary man can fully receive his dormant Krishna consciousness. In the Bhagavad Gita 2:62, it is stated, Sangat Sanjayate Kamana. One's desires and ambitions develop according to the company one keeps. It is often said that a man is known by his company, and if an ordinary man associates with devotees, he will certainly develop his dormant Krishna consciousness. The understanding of Krishna consciousness is innate in every living entity and is already developed to some extent when the living entity takes a human body. It is said in the Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Lila, chapter 22, slok 107, Nitya Siddha Krishna Prema Sadhya Kabunaya Shravanadi Sudachita Kaya Udaya. Pure love for Krishna is eternally established in the hearts of the living entities. It is not something to be gained from another source. When the heart is purified by hearing and chanting, the living entity naturally awakens. Since Krishna consciousness is inherent to every living entity, everyone should be given a chance to hear about Krishna. Simply by hearing and chanting Shravanam Kirtanam, one's heart is directly purified and one's original Krishna consciousness is immediately awakened. Krishna consciousness is not artificially imposed upon the heart, it is already there, and when one chants the holy name of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the heart is cleansed of all mundane contamination. In the first stanza of the Sri Shastaka, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, Cheto Dapana Majanam Bhavam Habdavakni Nivapanam, Chetakaiva Chandrika Vidanam Vidya Vadu Jivanam, Anandam Buddhivadanam Pratipadam Punamrita Smaranam, Sarvatma Snapanam Param Vijayate, Sri Krishna Sankirtanam. All glories to the Sri Krishna Sankirtanam, which cleanses the heart of all the dust accumulated for years and extinguishes the fire of conditional life, of repeated birth and death. The Sankirtan movement is a prime benediction for humanity at large because it spreads the rays of the benediction moon. It is the life of all transcendental knowledge. It increases the ocean of transcendental bliss and enables us to fully taste the nectar for which we are always anxious. We read that this morning, I think. Not only is the chanter of the Mahamantra purified, but the heart of everyone who happens to hear the transcendental vibration of Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare is also cleansed. Even the souls embodied in lower animal, insects, trees, and other species of life also become purified and prepared to become fully Krishna consciousness simply by hearing the transcendental vibration. This was explained by Haridas Thakur when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu inquired from him how living entities lower than human beings can be delivered from the material bondage. Haridas Thakur said that the chanting of the holy names is so powerful that even one chants in the remotest part of the jungle. The trees and animals will advance in Krishna consciousness simply by hearing the vibration. This was actually proven by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself when he passed to the forest of Jarikanda. At that time, the tigers, snakes, deer, and all other animals abandoned their natural animosity and began chanting and dancing in Sankirtan. Of course, we cannot imitate the activities of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, but we should follow in his footsteps. We are not powerful enough to enchant the lower animals such as tigers, snakes, cats, and dogs, or entice them to dance, but by chanting the holy names of the Lord, we can actually convert many people throughout the world to Krishna consciousness. Contributing or distributing the holy name of the Lord is a sublime example of contribute to a living giving charity, the Dadati principle. By the same token, we must also follow the Pragnati principle and be willing and ready to receive the transcendental gift. One should inquire about the Krishna conscious movement and open his mind in order to understand the situation of this material world. Thus the Guryam Adari Prachi principle can be served. The members of the International Society for Krishna Consciousness invite the society members and supporters to dine with them whenever they hold love feast in their branches every Sunday. Many interested people come to honor prasadam, and whenever possible they invite members of the society to their homes and feed them sumptuously with prasadam. In this way, both the members of the society and the general public are benefited. People should give up company of so-called yogis, jnanis, karmis, and philanthropists because of the association can benefit no one. If one really wants to attain the goal of human life, he should associate with devotees of the Krishna conscious movement because it's the only movement that teaches one how to develop love of God. Religion is a special function of human society, and it constitutes the destination between human society and animal society. Animal society has no church, mosque, or religious symptoms. In all parts of the world, however downtrodden human society may be, there is some system of religion. Even tribal aborigines in the jungles also have a system of religion. When a religious system develops and turns into love of God, it is successful, as stated in the first canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, Savai Puncham Parodamo Yato Bhakti Adokshare Ahoitiki Apravata Yatatma Subhadadati. The supreme occupation Dharma for all humanity is that by which man can attain to loving devotional service to the transcendent Lord. Such devotional service must be unmotivated and uninterrupted in order to completely satisfy the self. If the members of human society actually want peace of mind, tranquility, and friendly relations between men and nations, they must follow the Krishna conscious system of religion by which they can develop the dormant love for Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. As soon as people do so, their minds will be immediately filled with the peace and tranquility. In this regard, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur warns all the devotees engaged in broadcasting the Krishna conscious movement not to speak to the impersonal Mayavadis who are always determined to oppose such theistic movements. The world is full of Mayavadis and atheists, and the political parties of all world take advantage of Mayavadi and other atheistic philosophies to promote materialism. Sometimes they even back a strong party to oppose the Krishna consciousness movement. The Mayavadis and other atheists do not want the Krishna conscious movement to develop because it educates people in God consciousness. Such is the policy of the atheist. There is no benefit in feeding a snake milk and bananas because the snake will never be satisfied. On the contrary, by taking milk and bananas, the snake simply becomes more poisonous. Kevalam Visavaranam. The snake gives milk to drink, its poison simply increases. For similar reason, we should not disclose our minds to the certain Mayavadis and Karmis. Such disclosures will never help. It's best to avoid association with them completely and never ask them about anything confidential because they cannot give good advice. Nor should we extend invitations to Mayavadis or atheists, nor accept the invitations, for by such intimate intermingling we may become affected by the atheistic mentality, Sangat Sajayati Karma. It's a negative injunction of this verse that we should refrain from giving anything or accepting anything from the Mayavadis and atheists. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also warned, Vishaya Ana Kaila Dastahayan Mana. By eating food prepared by worldly people, one's mind becomes wicked. Unless one is very advanced, he is unable to utilize everyone's contribution to further the Krishna consciousness movement. Therefore, on principle, one should not accept charity from the Mayavadis or atheists. Indeed, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has forbidden devotees to associate even with ordinary men who are too addicted to material sense gratification. The conclusion is that we should always keep company with devotees, observe the regulative devotional principles, follow in the footsteps of the Acharya, and in full obedience carry out the orders of the spiritual master. In this way we should be able to develop our devotional service and dormant Krishna consciousness. The devotee who is neither a neophyte nor a Mahabhagavat, a greatly advanced devotee, but is within the middle status of devotional service, is expected to love the Supreme Personality of Godhead, make friend with the devotees, show favor to the ignorant, and reject the jealous and demoniac. In this verse, there is a brief mention of the process of making loving transactions with the Supreme Personality of Godhead and making friends with the devotees. According to the Dayati principle, an advanced devotee is supposed to spend at least 50% of his income. Jai Sisi Radha Radhanath ki Jai, Gorahari ki Jai, Giri Govardhana ki Jai. According to the Dayati principle, an advanced devotee is supposed to spend at least 50% of his income on the service of the Lord and his devotees. Srila Rupa Goswami has such an example in life. When he decided to retire, he distributed 50% of his life's earning to Krishna's service, 25% to his relatives, and kept 25% for personal emergencies. This example should be followed by all the devotees. Whatever one's income, 50% should be spent on behalf of Krishna and his devotees. That will fulfill the demands of Dadati. In the next verse, Srila Rupa Goswami informs us of what kind of Vaishnava should be selected as a friend and how Vaishnavas should be served. Om Jnana Timirandasya Jananjana Salakaya Shakshon Minitam Yena Tasmai Si Gurave Namaha. A very long purport. It is a very interesting scripture in the first place. Nectar of instruction. The first sloka immediately hits very hard. It says that a person who can control the urges of the mind and senses can make disciples all over the world. Not in India, not in Bengal, not at Radhakund, all over the world. So it is a very strong starting point, and it is a very interesting scripture indeed, because it is ultimately meant for us only. We are distributing them on Sankirtan, but it is very much, first of all, meant for us only. I'm supposed to speak on this sloka, and I think I'm supposed to mostly speak on the principle of giving and receiving prasada. But many times when we're in Vrindavan, we have a program, school programs, some type of a college preaching, and I have to speak to big numbers of students and Brajabasis. So I always quote from a later sloka which says that Mathura is better than Vaikuntha, which is a very strong statement. And then I tell the Brajabasis, then better than within that forest of Mathura, better than Mathura, as the 12th forest of Vrindavan, because Krishna's pastimes are happened there, and higher than that is Govardhan, and then ultimately there's Radhakund. So when the Brajabasis, obviously they hear that, I was saying, this is your Sanskriti, this is your culture, they're very much enlivened. So it is a very interesting sequence of slokas. So today, the sloka speaks about how we interact with the devotees. And should speak about accepting, offering prasadam. But I'm personally also have a very strong faith when it calls revealing one's mind in confidence, inquiring confidentially. We see, Swetadeep said that the other day, yesterday I think, that in beginning, we all are very enthusiastic when we join the temple. We come in contact, we're coming from a very contaminated environment, most of us. We're not grown up in Brahmana or devotee families, we're grown up in normal Kami families. So we're grown up in this association, which was described here in the later part of the purpose, as a very dangerous association. And out of this miserable situation, there are four types of people who come. What is that? The ones who are in distress, the ones who are inquisitive, the ones who are looking for wealth, and the ones who are actually looking for the absolute truth. So technically, only the person who's searching after the absolute truth is actually a bona fide or a worthy candidate to join. The other three have a material motivation, and when they're out of the distress, when their inquisitiveness for knowledge is fulfilled, or when they become wealthy, then technically they could return. So it is our duty that when people are joining, that we free them from this beginning ideas they had to come to Krishna consciousness. So, and we can see that what I wanted to say is that in beginning we're very enthusiastic because we came out of this horrible situation of material life, but then when we are slowly, the beginning enthusiasm wears out, usually because we are feeling that the other devotees just ordinary people like the others. We're seeing them again like we were before. We were seeing them as demigods, but after some time we see, oh, he's itching his nose and he's eating like that and he's looking like that, and so we start to doing offenses, and obviously our enthusiasm is wearing out. So for me, this reveal your mind in confidence is a very important thing. Particularly, I'm looking after some brahmacharis, and one of them is a very nice brahmacharis, and whenever he has a problem, he speaks to me very openly, very things which could be very embarrassing. And I can see when he does that, 50% of his problem is already evaporated because he has spoken it out. He has admitted, not only to himself, but to somebody else, that I have a great flaw. I'm a fallen person, I have a flaw. And in the moment Krishna is in his heart and he's in my heart, it maybe doesn't really deeply interest me what is his flaw. But this is a way how we can advance. If we can't do that, let's say we are brahmacharini or brahmachari and we're living in the ashram, if we can't do that on a long run, then we will need to find a partner. And then we have to search for somebody to get married, because we're thinking, then now I can express myself. So it is an important thing. So next, speaking about prasadam, the first thing which came in my mind is when Srila Prabhupada was in the very early days in New York, and he was sitting in what they call the matchless gift, and even prior to that, even he couldn't cook or do anything. He would always get an apple, cut it in little slices, and at the end of the program would make sure that everyone would get a slice. And then as the facility advanced, we have to see how practical and merciful Srila Prabhupada was. In the beginning days, he would cook the whole feast. He would cook the feast, he would get the ingredients, he would cook the feast, and he would clean after that. Only later on, when some people actually joined him and helped him cooking, they would help with cleaning and cutting and bringing the ingredients. So we can see from that how important this prasad distribution was to Srila Prabhupada. And we have seen that in the Western countries, I don't know how it is here, I'm new to this place, I know that many devotees in Germany joined from prasadam. And looking back, even my own situation, I was searching for something. I was searching for something. I was knowing that there is a reality behind this material world. I was knowing it. But I read many different books. I wasn't finding. And then I went to Berlin, and I was smoking one cigarette a day. That was left from a big drug habit and whatnot, all was left. And I thought this has to be given up. So I went to Berlin, and I was thinking, if Berlin doesn't help, I go to India. I don't know where that came from. And I fasted for 1 week. Then I got a first canto Srimad Bhagavatam on Friday. I met the devotees on Harinam on Saturday, and I went to the Sunday Loft program, which Srila Prabhupada mentions here on Sunday. And Astarata Prabhu gave a class, and everything was so and so. And then I wanted to go, and they said, no, you have to eat. And I was, no, I'm fasting, I can't eat. Is eating no good, I'm fasting. And they were insisting that this is different food, and you have to eat that, and it's prasadam, and you have to break your fast. And maybe they even quoted that this is like Vrindavan, and Krishna says in Vrindavan, nobody gets hungry. So anyhow, I ate that food, and then I went on my way home. And I guess most of you are good people. We were taking drugs before. I was on the trip of my life when I was going home. I felt like I was floating in that road. I was thinking, what has happened to me, this food? What I must have mixed there. So anyhow, this is prasadam, and this is the power of prasadam. And I mentioned that the other day in a lecture that there is one devotee, Jayadev, and in England, and he does past life regressions. I'm a little bit going in some esoteric field here, but he does that. And one lady was describing that she was a bird or an insect, and she landed on a Jagannath tongue from Jagannath Puri and picked on that, and then she became a human being. So if anyone takes prasadam, if we are not between ourselves, but if anyone gets prasadam, he's granted a human form of life. We're taking it very much for granted. We're thinking we were humans and we will again be humans, but it is not. So what to speak now when we share that prasadam from one devotee to another devotee? It is such an important principle. We can see, me personally, I'm sitting in Vrindavan in the Goshala, and I'm very fortunate because many senior devotees come to Vrindavan. And my wife is up for it. So whenever any new Prabhupada disciple, anyone senior, any of my old friends comes via Vrindavan, we invite him. And if they're Westerners, we give them pizza and pasta. And if they're Indians, my wife cooks Indian. And we try to make them satisfied as much as they can. And being in the Goshala afterwards, they can give laddus to the cows and they walk off hopefully very satisfied. So in this way, we are giving prasadam to the devotees, and they're accepting prasadam. And afterwards, what Srila Prabhupada says, after taking prasadam, there is always this cordial moment where people tell you something which they normally wouldn't tell. It's a nice conversation, and we get the mercy. And many times it can be very much enlivening. Not so when after Kartik. Somehow or other, Sachinandan Maharaj came to my home, and he has a very good memory. He remembered me when I was Bhakta Stefan long back in Germany. He should have not remembered me. I was just one insignificant Bhakta, but he remembered me and he came to my home. And he was a very intimate conversation came after that prasadam. So this is a situation. We have to exchange each other. And the factor here is with love and devotion. It cannot be mechanical that I have to do that. Some we see when we go to Hindus' houses, they also give you something to eat. But it is not that much with love. It is more because they're being trained that nobody should go from your house without taking something, which can result in that you actually don't want to eat, and they try to push you something to eat, which is also okay. I'm just saying. So this love is a binding factor here. And this is the Bhakta handbook. the nectar of instructions. This is what we have to follow, and we see it is a very small sloka, which is pretty self-explanatory. But Srila Prabhupada made a huge purport here to make us very clear understand. And he said, basically, was his purpose to start the Krishna conscious movement. He made it here, it's very long, but it is very clear, it is twofold. It is bring the outside people in to take prasadam, and it is for the devotees between each other to have that exchange. And if we don't have that loving exchange, then the devotees will try to find that loving exchange somewhere else. And then strong warning here. Srila Prabhupada gives strong warning. See, don't eat food cooked by people who have the wrong consciousness. You will become wicked. He uses that word, wicked. You will develop a wicked mentality. It's an old British word, wicked. I don't really know what that means, but it's nothing good. So we have to be very careful, and that's the difference. We were with Bhakti Binga Govinda Maharaj in Madhava's house, and we had a big feast, and everyone was saying it's tasting good. And then the Maharaj said, yeah, we have a special ingredients. And we were all wondering, what is coming now? And he said, Krishna's saliva is in it. We won't tell that to outside people. They maybe wouldn't get it the right way. Even it hit me a little bit. I never heard it like that. But yeah, that's what it is. Krishna is not really eating. There's that one incident in Chaitanya Charitamrita where the boy was so sincere that Krishna was eating. But in general, Krishna is eating with his eyes. Krishna can perform all his functions with any part of his body. It's not a material body. It is transcendental. It's made from transcendence. It's Satchit and Ananda, like our soul, in full. So he can just glance at the food. And remembering me and Swetadeep on Padayatra, the cooking was many times very simple. When you just arrive in a place, you have to set up a makeshift kitchen and cook something and be fast. It is more or less simple. But I remember it always being very tasty. Because Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was traveling with us. He chosen us to travel with him, and he was knowing where he wanted to travel. So, and Srila Prabhupada was sitting on the cart in the front. That was his desire, to go to all the holy places. So it was always very tasty, because Mahaprabhu definitely looked at it and tasted it. And then you eat that, and you get very strong spiritual feeling. I remember I went to England. We were traveling in Rajasthan with Padayatra in Chittaugarh. And I got very sick. I got a jaundice. I was turning yellow. But I had my flight booked, my visa. I had to make a visa, and I went to London. And I was really not feeling well. And the devotees didn't really had much capacity to take care of me. So at some point I said, look man, I need to go to a doctor. So they brought me to an hospital. And the hospital guy was about to send me back to the manor. And then I told him how infectious jaundice can be and how there are dangerous varieties. And the doctor got scared, so he rang to the tropical institutes. I just needed a place where I could lay down. I was so weak. So they brought me to the tropical institute, and one of my god brothers, Sri Jayadev, was bringing prasadam every day. And there is one famous Mataji in the Bhaktivedanta Swami manor. She passed away recently. She was making the milk sweets for the deities. Forgot her name. So he brought me one of those milk sweets, and it was sitting on my hospital desk. And then one afternoon I thought, okay, let's give it a try. Actually, jaundice you don't want to eat. And I eaten that milk sweet, and it is just like I was new that time. I had never felt. My hairs was standing in the end. My body was shaking. My mind was remembering Krishna. So there is prasadam becomes Krishna, and prasadam has the consciousness of Krishna. So if the prasadam is cooked in the proper mentality and is offered in the proper mentality and is honored, that's the important point I'm trying to make. I was very respectful because I hadn't eaten for many days to this piece of Mahaprasadam, and it made me ecstasy. So this is what prasadam is about. It is loaded with the consciousness. And then the other warning, as I said before, you eat from the karmis, you become wicked. And then Srila Prabhupada said he's having a strong word about the warning about the Mayavadis. And recently I found something very interesting I never understood. Is we very easily say Mayavadis. But if you call a beggar, he won't like that. Or I don't know what is an extreme thing. I don't want to be political untoward. In India, you have those people that clap their hand, they're men who look like ladies. If you call them, the actual name for that is chaka. But if you call them like that, they get very offended. Or if somebody is disabled and you call them a cripple or something. So we call them Mayavadis, but actually this is a very bad word for them. They don't like to, they don't think they're Mayavadis. So if you tell a Mayavadi you're a Mayavadi, they can't defute it, but they actually really don't like it. And as said here, you don't take anything from them. You don't engage the items, you don't mingle with them, and you definitely never eat what they're cooking or giving you. If they have any food they give you, never. You make a big way around that. And that also counts for when you go to a demigod temple, temples of Lord Shiva. I don't know how many of you are Hindus. We have to be careful because there is that only one place where you can take, two places where you take Shiva Prasadam. Anyone knows? Swetadeep. And Nandagram. In Bhuvaneshwar, there is Jagannath, Ananta Vasudev, in Vishnu form with 4 arms. And traditionally the prasadam for Ananta Vasudev goes to Lingaraj, and then you can take it as Mahaprasadam. In Nandagram, there are Krishna and Balaram, and there's also Lord Shiva. So the Mahaprasadam will go from there to Lord Shiva, and then you can honor it. 8 more minutes, okay. So this is the important point to take from this sloka. Particularly, I was asked to speak about prasadam. Prasadam is the mercy of the Lord. We have to cook for Krishna. Technically, when we are cooking something for Krishna, we are cooking on behalf of Srimati Radharani. That's a very high position. We have to be very conscious. We have to pray before we cook. We pray to Radharani. We pray, please, I'm not qualified. Please give me a chance. I'll cook. Please make it tasty, because Radharani is blessed. She pleased Durvasa Muni, so whatever she cooks will make the person will very tasty and will make very healthy. So the same thing, when we're cooking, we can pray to Radharani that we get some empowerment. And then if we are cooking it in the proper consciousness, then when we're offering it in the proper consciousness, so more Krishna will actually glance on that. So more Krishna actually feels the love and devotion coming, that basically he don't need us, he don't need our food, he's already satisfied, but he's not really eating the food. Sometimes we're thinking we make it more and more opulent, Krishna will be more pleased. Yes, obviously we should extend ourselves according to our ability, but ultimately Krishna is eating, the ingredients he is eating is our devotion, is our love for him. That is what he's looking for, and that what he's eating. And so more we can put our love into our offering, so more Krishna will glance at it, and then obviously so higher quality prasadam it will become. So this is the difficulty, and this is the process, and this is the goal at the same time. To develop love for Krishna within our hearts, and this will be first of all expressed when Srila Prabhupada said at the end, your love to me will be shown by how much you can cooperate with each other, which is the most difficult thing. When you go outside, you have a big company. The karmis are all cooperating. They have some politics, some leg pulling is there, who will get the next boss. But at the end, they're only there to get their paycheck. And they don't want to make too much disturbance because they don't want to lose their job. They want to get their paycheck. But here, devotees, they volunteer. So when you have a group of volunteers, that means everyone has sacrificed something. In the company, nobody is sacrificing. Everyone is there to get something. Give minimum and get maximum. Of people who work hard in a company, that is because they want to move up. But in devotional service, we all have given up sense gratification. We are all giving our free time. We are all giving our mind. We all start giving our hearts to this movement. But that doesn't mean that we have given up our ideas. And then every one of us has grown up in a different environment and is coming here to do service. And maybe somebody's grown up with a yellow wall, somebody's grown up with a blue wall. There's a difference in opinion. One is thinking yellow, the walls should be yellow, other one says blue, and so we can get into some confrontation, and we have to be very careful. Ultimately, it doesn't matter if the wall is yellow or blue or this or that. It doesn't matter. Ultimately, what matters is that the devotees have this principle of sharing love and devotion, sharing gifts, thoughts, revealing their minds in confidence, and serving each other in a positive mentality. Because as I said earlier, we arrived here all very enthusiastic. And if we're not enthusiastic anymore, and basically enthusiasm, Utsaharan is the underlying principle. You can't do devotional service without enthusiasm. You can't. It becomes mechanical. The next step is you're doing it. It's not like it's bad, but if you're not enthusiastic, that means you're not really up to the task. Now, ultimately, we have to have lolam. Actually, devotional service means we have greed. You know what a greedy kami looks like. So we have to have greed to get Krishna. We have to be very highly enthusiastic, and without enthusiasm it will be very difficult to continue for a very long time. So that enthusiasm will come only if we are not doing offenses. And that means if we approach every other devotee with respect, we love the other devotees, we want to exchange, we want to, instead of take, we want to give something. And even if they just return a smile, we are very satisfied with that. Prabhupada says that in the purport. Whatever little reciprocation might be there. So even you give 10,000 rand and the Prabhu only says thank you, we are very happy with that. We are very satisfied with the interaction of devotees. So this is the aim of our life, and this is kind of the Bhakta manual here. Rupa is very clearly laid out what we have to do. So I will stop there. Is there any comment or any question? Yes, Mataji.
Thank you so much for the wonderful class, Prabhu. I was thinking about the last point you made, that the loving reciprocation should be done in the mood that whatever reciprocation we get in exchange should be accepted. And you can see the loving exchange that a mother has with their child, it's that unconditional kind of love, the most pure kind of love in the material world that we can see. And I was just thinking about this point of expectations. When we're giving without expectation, then that's actually so much more satisfying than giving in the mood of expecting anything or even something small in return.
Expectation. Um, so I'm just telling something. I'm not sure if I'm fully hitting your point, but I have 3 kids, and my middle kid Pundrik was in the Gurukul in Mayapur. So once a week there's a 1 hour where my wife will phone and speak to her. Out of the 3 kids, that was her most beloved kid. She loves him the most, and it's like the highlight of the whole week. So now the kid is at home, and I don't want to go out of the box here, but some 2 weeks back, I've seen my wife pointing and shouting at the kid, say, "You are not my son." So, yes, the mother is very selfless in her love, but as parents, we do have expectations. Particularly as devotee parents, we want to see the devotee kid goes for Mangalati. That kid make me so proud, because when he was 12 years old, he was playing on his mobile phone, put his mobile phone down, looked at me and said, "Papa, I don't want to waste my time playing on the mobile and watching movies. Send me to the Gurukul." So very strong point. And there he comes back 5 years later, and he's lazy, he plays on the phone, he likes to sleep. So we do have a strong expectation. Even as parents, it is not so unconditional as you think. Yes, when they're small, yes, but then as devotees, even we have more expectations. The karmis, they want the kids to become great karmis. That's not a great deal. But as devotees, we have actually so many expectations. We want that they love to put tilak, we want them to dance in kirtan, we want to wake them up, we want to see them chanting, we want to see them reading the books. And there they are, when the puberties come, once a sudden they have a mind on their own and they get bewildered, they don't know what they want. So, to not have expectations, that is only possible when we're really in a higher level of devotional service. If not, there is always some feeling of expectation. And that is where the problem is coming. I'm doing devotional service in the temple, and usually the expectation is recognition. At least people want to be recognized. That's the minimum. And if that doesn't come, then people will get frightened and they will go away. I'm not fully sure if I grasp your question.
You clarified the point for me. Thank you.
Okay, fantastic. Jai. Okay.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. Just building on that question.
Speak loudly in that thing.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. Just building on that point that you made about recognition within the temple. I was reading yesterday in one of the purports in Bhagavad Gita, Prabhupada was saying, if one expects honor, then they cannot surrender. So how do we overcome this kind of expectation of recognition and honor?
I remember Radhanath Maharaj spoke about that, and he was quoting from somewhere. I forgot the exact quote, but there's different. This is hasta la vista something. The desire for this fame and recognition is a stool of a hawk. Is considered to the stool of a hawk. The hawk is already eating stool, and then he's passing that out again. And that's what we're after. So how to overcome that by very sincerely chanting Trinada Pisunichana. What is that? Prabhupada said we should wear that around like a neck bead. We should wear that sloka around our neck. And I'm not a good example for that. I'm a little pushy fellow. So I'm a go-getter. So I sometimes step on people to get it going. And I'm not a good teacher in that regard, but you look like a good candidate. It is a matter of always reminding ourselves that is the stool of the boar. and if you really see the hawk stool, you don't want to get in touch with that. It's nothing very palatable. Yeah, this is there, isn't it? I don't want a woman, I don't want a lot of followers, I don't want to. That is that whole thing. We have to remember that sloka, that is part of the things I don't want. And it will come. It will definitely come. Once you become, if you just stick around, you're not even a big speaker or great devotees. If you stick long enough around, they will say, hey, look, there's that devotee, he's serving here for 15 years, for 20 years, and people will give you recognition, and eventually maybe you even get glorified, and then is really where the difficulty starts, because I'm not this body, I'm not the situation, this is just my karma, this is just that I'm sitting here right now, what I've done to have earned that. That is good fortune. Basically, we have to always remember we're not here on our own merit. Maybe we have done pious activities in the past, but Srila Prabhupada has created this society, and this society is meant to preach to the others. Before our acharyas, they were sitting in Vrindavan under the bush and chanting Hare Krishna. They were, even if they were Brahmins, they would throw their Brahmin thread and just sit there in a lungi and chant Hare Krishna. So the society is there, this big opulent temple is there, that when other people are coming and seeing that, they're getting attracted. It is for attracting the others. So because we're part of this machinery, and Krishna has chosen us to be part of the Sankirtan mission, that's why we are here. So we are very fortunate. So, and we have to always we have to see Srila Prabhupada. One time the devotee asking what you're praying for, and Srila Prabhupada said, I do not fall down. So even the person who will not fall down, most of us could fall down, but the one person who definitely could not fall down still had the humility to pray to Krishna, please don't let me deviate. So we have to have the strong desire for Krishna, and ultimately we recognize when that desire comes up. It's a matter of being conscious. We feel this desire is coming. This desire is inbuilt for lifetimes and lifetimes. It was there in the sloka that we are conditioned for so long time in the purport. That answer your question, or you want more specific?
Perfect, thank you.
Thank you. Hare Krishna. Swetadeep, we're crossing the time.
Thank you very much for this nice class, very inspiring. If you just one question I ask you. Sometimes you have stressed very strongly on prasadam. Of course, when you are temple, we follow this very strictly. We eat prasadam, it is offered by good consciousness, and then it is safe for us. But sometimes when you go out preaching, cultivating people, then we are in situations, sometimes we're in houses of life members or whatever, then we do eat something that they offer, that we offer on the table, whatever. Even Padayatra, you remember very well. Many times we were fed by people, we were very tired working, doing service, book distribution, whatever, maintenance, and walking, doing kirtan. So when villagers cooked for us, we did offer and eat. Sometimes the Jain temple cooked for us. Sometimes Swami Narayan cooked for us. In Rameshwaram, we stayed in a Ramakrishna Math.
I remember that.
And they cooked for us. The Swami was very welcoming, very kind. And the Swami cooked for us, and we offered, we ate. It so happens sometimes we even were offered food with onion and garlic, but it was so tense a situation on this, so hectic. We were so in a difficult situation that we offered the food. When we ate, then we found out there's onion and garlic. So I think, what do you say about this situation? Because we ate in Mayavadi. Sometimes Sai groups also cook for us. Okay. I remember. And so, because when they see devotees, Padayatris, they were very excited. They want to help, assist with good heart, with pure heart. So, but you see, you are in Padayatra also.
Yes, I can immediately answer. It's not so difficult. I would have given the same example you are giving. On Padayatra, we had two parties. We were going to house programs and we were taking Goni Thai to people's houses and eat there, offer there and eat there. And I was always ecstatic. I'm the most, out of many people, I'm the very sensitive person when it comes to eat, and I'm a little eater, and I wasn't that much out for the feast. But I always felt that food those people cooked, and those people where Goni Thai had chosen to go to their house. They were very special people. For us, they looked like karmis, but there was a people. Goni Thai came to this village, to this town, to meet those people. So who are we to say that their cooking is not good if they come to the house and eat that? Point one. Point two is Bhaktisiddhanta went as far as saying, you eat meat, but you preach. It's a very extreme, and I don't want to go there further. I'm personally very sensitive. If I can feel, if I put that in my mouth, whatever thinking while cooking that, I immediately get affected. But if it is in the name of preaching, and if the outcome is preaching, I think we're protected, and I think Krishna will protect us if there is some flaw in the system, if there's some flaw in the food. By us sincerely praying, please accept that. Sometimes we have to just offer it to our spiritual master because we don't have a deity, but as long as we are doing that conscious tiny little thing, I think we're protected. And I really, Swetadip, coming back to this Padayatra, I was feeling ecstatic when Goni Thai is going to somebody's house, and I never got a bad reaction from that food. Ever, never. Some devotees were getting wet dreams or something like that. I never got that problem. I always felt ecstatic because I was honoring in that way. I always thought this deities came to this person's house. How special they must be. We were just the caretakers. We were just the servants which will bring the Lord to those people.
Yeah, so devotees from here in Durban, you must know that these deities that we have on Padayatra, especially the small deity, Utsava, has gone every corner of India. Even in Himalaya, we carry the deity on our head.
And they've been there at every Raj Mandal Parikrama so far, and they have been at every Gora Mandal Parikrama whichever has been done.
Yeah, we used to stop the Padayatra and go all of us and take the deities. So this is very special deity. Whenever you meet the Padayatra in India, please take darshan. Last thing I say, yeah, you are very blessed. Because those days Padayatra Parshad was very tasty, but we were very poor, very simple. But Lokanath Swami always used to send sweets for you special. And used to, this is especially for my Sanaka. And we'll look, and he's whacking the sweets, and we'll look. And we were looking because many of us, and he's very favorite one. So that saved you also. Today you are flourishing in your devotion and Krishna consciousness. Haribo.
Hare Krishna. Thank you. Jai. Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Nectar of Instruction ki Jai. Durban Bhakta Vrinda ki Jai.